Good morning, friends. We had a good amount of rain last night, and as the old wives' tale goes, it's safe to plant beans after the dandelions have gone to seed and their white puffballs appear. Judging by the current abundance of them, I figured this and the rain was a good sign to plant. The area that I'm planting in is a bed that we've already prepped for the year. This is a brand new garden to us, so it's been a race against the clock to get the garden in while we've also been unpacking and settling into our new home. This specific area of the garden is a row of about 50 feet long by somewhere between 2 to 3 feet wide. In it, I've planted brassicas, so some broccoli, kale, cauliflower, kohlrabi, and cabbage. And those are along the perimeter. And then down the center, that's where I'm planting the bush beans today. The beans will grow quicker, about 50 to 60 days, whereas the brassicas will take longer, usually about 90 to 110 days, give or take. This means that the bush beans will cover the soil for the brassicas. That will lessen the overall moisture loss and improve the soil quality for the future brassicas. And then when the beans have finished for the season, I can cut them back and make more room for the brassicas to finish growing out. And I'll be sure to cut the beans, not pull at the roots, because this will damage the brassicas. The roots of the beans will eventually break down in the soil, become a nice nitrogen boost for future plants. As you can see, we've got a lot of weeding to do and finessing to do, but like I mentioned, it's our first year with this garden, so it'll take a while to get the soil where we want it to be, nice and broken down and loamy with all of that extra leaf and grass mulch and stuff in there. We've intentionally placed our coop closer to our garden just for ease of access. You can see in back where we got 9 new chicks, and they're getting a little bit bouncy in there in the brooder, so they're starting to pop out, which is a good sign of healthy chicks. So we'll be chasing them around the yard in no time. Before I head back inside, I stop off to grab some herbs and asparagus for dinner. Being that my growing zone is pretty far north and I have a May 1st frost date, there isn't much coming from the garden yet. But my motto is to use at least one thing from the garden in each meal, even if it's just a few herbs. And considering the cost of herbs along with the cost of just about everything else, I'm grateful to have them available. The asparagus patch is a remnant from the previous owner of our property, and I was thrilled to find it. I don't know the age of the crowns, but judging by the thickness of some of the stalks, it's been here quite a while. I've been coming to the patch every couple of days to pick, and then I save up the stalks until we have enough for a meal. It's the picking consistently that avoids the stalks fanning out or going to seed, and helps keep more stalks coming and improve the overall harvest. This morning, I'm also bringing my sourdough starter out of hibernation. As we got closer to moving, I placed my starter in the refrigerator to slow it down. I knew I wouldn't have time to feed it or use it or even just feed and do discard. And through the move, overall it's been about 2 months since I've used or fed it, where it's been in the refrigerator. But I can tell within a couple of feedings that it's going to be back to bubbly in no time. I'm not too specific on the amount of flour to water ratio, and I found that over time, kind of having that tactile feel about it and knowing what it should look like, that nice thick starter, not too runny, not too clumpy, not too thick. What we're looking for is that nice thick pancake batter consistency. Then I'm giving the freshly picked herbs a good soak. And it's a soak rather than a rinse, just to make sure that all of the dirt is off. I'm using the oregano, chives, thyme, garlic, and salt to make a fresh marinade. Then I'll let the chicken rest until it's dinner time. Now, I could buy a marinade or a dressing mix, but having fresh herbs on hand is such a huge way to elevate your cooking while being cost conscious. Plus, we're getting the added vitamins and health benefits from the herbs. Now, I purchased the chicken legs for about 98 cents a pound, which is a pretty standard price in my area. And all in, we used a little bit over 3 pounds, so maybe closer to 4 pounds. So the overall cost for the chicken would be about $3.75. So we're skipping ahead to later in the day here. I'm cutting up a few potatoes and cleaning the asparagus using the snap method. This is where you find the weak point in the stalk by bending it, and you can feel where the fibrous texture starts at the bottom versus where it's more of that nice, tender, fleshy bit towards the top. Now, I meant to show you the grilling process, but we got a little busy running around the yard doing things. So you kind of get to see the after. But voila, a healthy, balanced meal for a family of 6 that's easy, budget friendly, and delicious. And it's all under $5. That's less than $1 a serving per person. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time.